Now, let's have a shootout. That moment where we put two sporty numbers of similar price, performance and purpose on a track to see which is fastest. This time we're testing two estates that combine pace with space and do it without breaking the bank. This is the Skoda Superb Sportline. It's the Czech manufacturer's biggest estate and has a tuned 4-cylinder 2-litre turbo engine, which gets it to 62 in a brisk 5.6 seconds. It's pretty rapido. Prices start at 36 grand. And this mouthful is the Volvo V90 R-Design Plus T5. 20 years ago, Volvo's T5 estate was the go-to vehicle for motorway cults, with its combination of speed and space. I used to love the old original T5 Volvo. The engine was great. It was a 5-cylinder turbo, sounded magnificent. Like the Skoda, the Volvo has a 2-litre turbo engine, but it gets to 62 almost a second slower and costs 10 grand more. I'll begin with the Superb. Now, I'm sitting in the most powerful car that Skoda produce. So I've got 272 brake horsepower, 350 Newton meters of torque, and a grippy 4-wheel drive system, which goes some way to explain its decent 0 to 62 time. I mean, this is a pretty big bus. It's 4.85 metres long. It weighs 1,650 kilograms, which, you know what, I don't think that's too bad for a thing as big as this. Now, Skoda have lowered the ride height by about 15 millimetres to try and counteract the roll. So let's see what she's like in this little tight bus stop chicane. Bit of understeer, there's definitely roll there for sure. There's quite a lot of turbo lag on this car. The gearbox is really sweet, brakes are sharp. I mean, it's not a rocket ship, but it's not bad. It's got a G-meter. What do you want one of them for? A G-force meter to show how many Gs a car can pull in the corners is usually more at home in high-performance cars or jet fighters. But anyway, let's see if we can get more than a G. Just over a G. It's comfortable, it's refined, it's quiet. Anyway, let's see how fast she goes. Time for a fast lap. Start the watch. Yeah, considering the length of the car, it's got quite good turn in. Yeah, I want to get the back out, but he won't let me. Characteristic 4-wheel drive understeer there on entry. Do you know what? I can't ever imagine thrashing an estate car, but it's quite good fun actually. You need a big wagon. You could do a lot worse than this in all honesty. It's pretty good actually. The Skoda records a time of 50.19 seconds. Let's move on to the Volvo. So it's clear I stepped into a much more premium car, which is hardly surprising because this is going to cost you 10 grand more. And you know what, on paper, this is going to be slower than the Skoda. It's 20 horsepower down, so it's got 250 horsepower. It's a bit heavier, but it is front-wheel drive, and that's probably the reason why the 0 to 62 time isn't as good. Now, we've got an 8-speed gearbox in here. Similar engine to the Skoda in that it's a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged. Now, if you thought the Skoda was big, well, think again. This is a very big car, you know. Best part of 5 metres long, and you know, that's Range Rover territory. It feels just too softly damped. It doesn't recover and settle quickly enough. Just for fun, time for a fast lap. Start the watch.
steering-wise, you know, we've got quite a lot of understeer. It's not as directional as a Skoda.
At the first checkpoint, it's tantalisingly close, but surprisingly, the Volvo is just edging it.
Quite a bit more disconnected from the car. You know, the steering's uber light. The suspension's very supple, almost a bit too soft, actually. Massively comfortable, luxurious, refined. I'd like a bit more performance, to be honest. A little bit more would be fun.
At the second checkpoint, the tide has turned, and the Volvo's power deficit means it's lost the lead, trailing the Skoda by half a second.
You know, there's quite a lot of electronic interference. The car's constantly tinkering with the brakes in the corner. It's a nice place to be, but it ain't sporty. Stop the watch.
The Volvo records a time of 51.05, losing to the Skoda by just under a second. So the Volvo hasn't quite retained its fast estate DNA from the 90s, and if you're in the market for an affordable estate that packs a punch, as well as a lot of luggage and passengers, the Skoda Superb Sportline should be on your list.